All right, guys, we get to the last level of problems here for solving rational equations. Notice here, it's a little bit more complicated, right? The denominators here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to factor any denominator that has not been factored first. Okay, so let's factor this. Notice we have x plus 6, x plus 7, and right here we have a trinomial. So let's go ahead and factor this out. And I have a feeling that it's going to be these two here, okay? So watch this. X times x is x squared. And sure enough, 42 is 7 times 6. Right? And then when you add them, you get 13. So it's going to be x plus 6 times x. Made a mistake there. Plus 7. Okay? So I don't need that anymore. I've factored it. Now, we can go through and multiply all these fractions here by the common factor that's going to cancel out the denominators. Okay? So notice here, this one has two denominators, x plus 6 and x plus 7. These only have one. But notice, if I wanted to cancel out these denominators here, I would need to multiply this by x plus 6 times x plus 7. I would need to multiply by both of them, okay, so to cancel the x plus 6s and the x plus 7s. So that's what I'm going to do with these as well. I'm going to multiply by both of those. X plus 6 times x plus 7. And once again here, x plus 6 times x plus 7. See that? Okay, so that's what we're going to have to be doing on all of these today. So notice here, x plus 6 is canceled. Perfect. No more fractions there. Same thing's going to happen with these two. We're not going to have a fraction anymore. Notice here, x plus 7s are going to cancel out. We are left with the x plus 6, which we'll distribute in a moment. And then x plus 6 is canceled here. And so then we're left with the x plus 7 there. Okay, but the important thing is that we got rid of all the denominators so that we don't have to work with fractions. Okay, so notice here, x times x is x squared, and then 7 times x is 7x. Nice. Over here now, plus 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times 6 is 12. And then over here, it looks like I'm just left with 3x plus 7. Nothing to distribute here. Everything canceled out. Okay, so look at that. All we have to do now is combine like terms wherever there are, and then x squared plus 9x plus 12 equals 3x plus 7. Okay, set it equal to 0 as before, and so we're going to subtract 3x, and then we're going to subtract 7 on both sides, and so these cancel, those cancel, and then with x squared plus 6x and then plus 5 equals 0. Okay, factor this out. I get x times x, and then 5 times 1 is 6, so that's going to be 5 plus 1 there, okay? Sorry, 5 times 1 is 5, and then 5 plus 1 is 6, okay? So my two solutions here are x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 1. Notice here my two denominators here were x plus 6 and x plus 7, and neither of these would make that one 0, so we're good here, okay? All right, next one. Take a look here, our denominators, we have x plus 3 and x minus 3, and then over here we have another x minus 3. So in order to cancel all denominators out, I'm going to have to multiply each one of these by both denominators that I have here, x plus 3 and x minus 3. Okay, like that, x plus 3, x minus 3, and then x plus 3 times x minus 3. And so this will ensure that I cancel out each denominator, even though it'll leave me with one new factor on top. Okay, so notice here, x minus 3's cancel, x minus 3's cancel there, x plus 3's cancel here, okay? Now, let's distribute here. X times x is x squared, and then x times negative 3 is negative 3x, okay? Here I'm going to distribute a 5, a positive 5, so it's going to be plus 5x plus 15 equals 7x plus 21, okay? So let's go ahead here now and combine the like terms. So I end up with x squared plus 2x, because 5 minus 3 is 2, plus 15 equals 7x plus 21. And then subtract 7x on both sides. And then subtract 21 on both sides. That cancels everything here. I am left with x squared minus 5x. And then 21 minus 15. Sometimes I can't do that in my head, so I use a calculator. So plus minus 6, equals 0, okay? And so let's go ahead and factor. That's going to be x times x. And notice we need a negative 6 and then a negative 5. So it's going to be negative 6 times 1 will give me negative 6, and then when I subtract, I get negative 5. Okay, so my two solutions here are x equals positive 6 and x equals negative 1. Okay, and neither of those will give my denominator a 0, so that means both of these solutions are okay. All right, now take a look here. Let's factor this. Whenever you can factor, go ahead and factor. So that's going to be x times x, and notice this is a difference of squares. That's going to be minus 3 plus 3. Okay, so notice here now we have our two denominators here, one denominator here, and no denominator here. But our goal is to get rid of these denominators. So that means I'm going to have to multiply, because this one has two of them that are different. I have to multiply by both of these here. Okay, so I'm going to have to multiply this by x minus 3 times x plus 3. Over here, the same thing. I'm going to multiply x minus 3 times x plus 3. And this one also, even though there's no denominator to cancel out there, I still need to multiply it by x minus 3 times x plus 3. Okay. So these cancel out here, x minus 3 and x plus 3. Okay. Notice I have an x plus 3 left. This one cancels out the x minus 3s. I have the x plus 3 times that. And then right here, I have to multiply all this together. So notice here, x minus 3 times x plus 3, that's just going to be x squared minus 9, what we had over here. So it's going to be x squared minus 9. Right? Times 1, well, it's going to be the same thing again. Plus 2x, and then plus 6, because I distribute 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? And then over here, looks like I just have x plus 3. Okay? Combine like terms, notice here I have negative 9 and positive 6. That's going to be a negative 3. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals x plus 3. Subtract x on both sides. And then we have those cancel, right? And then subtract 3 on both sides. And so I have x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Those cancel out there too. Okay, so let's factor this. I have x times x for x squared, and I need a negative 6, right? When I multiply it, and then a positive 1, so that's going to be 3 times 2, but make the 2 negative. So x plus 3 times x minus 2. So my two solutions are x equals negative 3, and x equals positive 2. Now notice here, if I plug it in here, negative 3 minus 3, that does not give me a 0. So we're good there for this one. But however, if I plug it in here, notice here we have x minus 3 and x plus 3, right? If I plug in the negative 3 right here, it will make this one 0. And then 0 times that will give me a 0 altogether in the denominator. So we must reject this solution there. It's extraneous. Okay? Because notice, if we even plug it into the x squared minus 9, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. 9 minus 9 is 0, you see? So we must reject it. And the 2, we're good there. It's not going to give a 0. So the only one that checks out is the x equals 2. Okay? Last one, let's factor this here. So that's going to be x times x, and then I need 4 and 2. Negative 4 and negative 2. That will give me the positive 8, and then a negative 6 when I multiply, when I add. So notice here my two denominators are x minus 4 and x minus 2. Same thing over here. So I'm going to multiply everything by x minus 4 times x minus 2. Same thing over here, x minus 4 times x minus 2. And lastly, right here, x minus 4 times x minus 2. Okay, so everything cancels out here. Right here, only the x minus 4s cancel, and over here, only the x minus 2s cancel. So I have 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then right here, plus, and then x squared minus 2x. Keep in mind that if this were a minus sign, you would have to make it negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times negative 2 would be a positive 2x, right? But it was positive, so this is what we have. And then finally, equals 2x plus 7. Okay, combine your like terms. 2x minus 2x that actually cancels out. And then we have x squared minus 8 equals 2x plus 7. Okay, subtract 2x on both sides, and then subtract 7 on both sides. That cancels out there. And then we're left with x squared minus 2x, and then that's going to be a minus 15 equals 0. Okay, let's factor that. So we get x times x, and then the 15 here is going to be, let's see, that's going to be 5 and 3, right? Negative 15. So that's 5 times 3 is 15, but we need a negative 2, so it's going to be a negative 5. So x minus 5 times x plus 3. Now my two solutions are going to be x equals 5 and then x equals negative 3. Okay, now let's see which one of these, if any, makes our denominator into a 0. And it looks like neither of these would do that. 5 minus 2, we're good there. 5 minus 4. And then the negative 3 also is no problem. Okay, so that's it. We can accept both of these.